Hey everyone, I promised I would go live and I have a surprise recipe for you. I saw this when I was scrolling through Facebook one day and I'm like, I'm going to change that up a little bit and I'm going to make that. So tonight we're going to make chicken pesto bake and I'm super excited to try this. I love to have different forms of chicken because we eat a lot of chicken. So sometimes it gets boring and we like to mix it up a little bit. So check this out and let me know if you've made anything like this or if you're going to make it in your own home. So what we're going to do first, we're going to take our chicken breast. I've got a big value pack here. I always buy the big ones, but I'm going to show you what I do because this is going to probably change your life. Oh my gosh, I just got sidetracked. What we're going to do first is get our sides in. So I'll tell you, some things just happen, all right? So we're going to have potatoes with it tonight, so I'm going to use our quick cooker. Don't want to get the house too heated up or anything, so here's how we're going to do this. So the quick cooker is our pressure cooker. If you're not familiar with it, you can do anything. It's got like 16 settings on here. You can sear, you can steam your veggies, you can make cheesecakes, yogurts, all sorts of crazy things. You can even use it as a slow cooker. But seriously, so much. I'm not going to focus on this one tonight though, but what I did was I've got some white potatoes and some sweet potatoes in here. Now, if I was kind of teetering on this because I might want to have them in a basket, maybe not. Here's what it comes with. You have this little trivet that goes with it. What I'm actually going to do is just layer them on top of this. If I had cut them into chunk sizes, I would put them in the colander. But the great thing is that the colander sits right down on top. Now, if you're familiar with pressure cooking, you'll know that you need to have at least a cup of water in there. That way it's going to create the steam, to create the pressure to actually cook your food. Okay, so you need to have the water, but sometimes you don't like your food sitting in the water. So if it's bigger chunked foods, you can put it on top of this. If it's not, use our smallest of the mesh colanders and it fits perfectly in there and you can grab them out. So I'm going to just lay this on there and just put my potatoes right around on the circle. They're not going to fall down through because of the way that I have them. You can prop them any way that you need to make sure that they're not going to. And the one thing that I did forget was my water, so excuse me just a second while I grab that. You always have to have at least 1 cup of water. So I'm going to just put that in there. And now you could cut it if you want. I'm a little bit too lazy for that, so I'm just going to stab it with a knife. So if you have some frustrations from the day, just stab them out. It'll make you feel better, right? So we're always saying that dinner time should be a stress reliever. So I'm just going to put a few holes in on the potatoes just like that, and watch how easy this is, okay, if I can find my lid. So I'm just going to put the lid on. I just want to note, because I'll probably forget to tell you, on the inside here there's this seal. You want to make sure the seal is in place, and when you're done cooking, take it out and wash it. Otherwise it'll start smelling a little funky, and okay, so I'm just going to put this right on top here. And now it has a manual setting here, so we want it to be at high pressure. So I'm going to press the custom here, and it automatically defaults to 30 minutes. I'm just going to change that, so I'm going to press time and arrow down to 16 minutes, or 15, whatever. Now it's going to just turn in this little circle until it is up to pressure, and then it's going to start doing its actual cooking, and the time is going to pop up at that point. So I am going to turn this, because if I leave it as is, it could go in, the steam could go into my cupboards, and even though I would love to have new cupboards, I probably can't afford to do that right now. So I'm going to turn this so that I don't have to worry about that. So if you have a safe place to plug it in and do it, sometimes what I will do to release the pressure is actually pick it up. It's got some safety features here where the handles are down at the bottom. This isn't going to get hot, and I'll actually carry it over to my table and release the pressure like that. So you can do that too. But, okay, so there was my squirrel moment. I'm going to come back to the chicken now. Okay, so this happens sometimes, but I wanted to get that rolling. So this meal should all be done in less than 30 minutes. Hot diggity dog, right? So I got my grill pan going there. Guys, you will never find me on an actual grill. I've been over this before. I don't like the bugs. I don't like the dangers of it. I burned off my eyebrows, my arm hairs. I've almost melted the siding on our house before. Bad things happen. So we don't want that to transpire, okay? So I'm just going to move this over here. This is one of my most favorite items. If you don't have one, have to get it. This is the close and cut. So you notice kind of how fat these chicken pieces are. It takes longer to cook, longer to freeze, longer to thaw, longer to do everything. So I just stick it right inside there. This is spring loaded on the top and the bottom. And I have my chef's knife. This is 7 or 10 inches long. You need to have a knife that's 7 inches or longer so that you can get inside there and just slice it. So look how nice and thin that is. So this is absolutely one of my must-have items. Changed my life, okay? So I'm just going to slice a couple of these in half here. You can use this close and cut for so many different things. Oh my goodness, I think some of this might be a little bit frozen. That might be a trick. So you can use this for bagels. You can use it for the buns that we might use later tonight for dinner. Cherry tomatoes, grapes. Oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank. Olives. I don't know who would want to cut olives in half because I could eat the entire thing at once, so they're only full for me. So, so many different things. If you wanted to do your chicken, like butterfly it and then stuff it and roll it and do something super fancy pants, you can totally do that too. Just don't go all the way through when you're slicing. You can use, oh my goodness, wrong one. You can use this for your pork chops or other meats too. So I have a few of these sliced in half. And guys, I'm going to recommend that when you go grocery shopping and you get your chicken in bulk or in this big value pack, because you know you're going to save money doing it that way, just, let me put this off to the side. You want to just slice everything right away and then put it in the individual freezer bags for your portions that you're going to use later on. It's just going to be so much easier. So I'm going to put a few of these down here. I'm hoping that we're good. You actually should have your meats around room temperature when you're starting to cook them so the outside doesn't get dry and funky and stuff. So I'm going to use my kitchen spritzer here. Fantastic, favorite thing. You're going to reduce the amount that you're using, you're going to be healthier, and you're going to get so much mileage out of your oil, okay? So I don't know what a can of Pam costs these days. I haven't bought it in seriously years now because this just does the trick. So I'm just going to spritz both sides of these and just sprinkle some sweet basil rub on top. I'm going to get these out of the way, just put them on my grill pan. This is the double burner. Really didn't need the big one tonight, but I like having extra room. I don't like to be limited. So if you've got a creativity that doesn't want to be, you know, held inside a cage, get the big one. You can make so many things. You can use it, I'm saying a lot. You can use it for your veggies on one side, meats on another. You can do a lasagna in there, even a cake. Seriously, you can do anything. It is safe on top of the stove and inside the oven. So seriously, let your mind go wild and do some crazy things. So I'm going to put this there, and of course you're going to get the lines just like you've been cooking on the grill. But we all know Vanessa doesn't do that. So I'm going to get some more of these on here quick. Then I'm going to get all my chicken stuff out of the way. I always layer lots of cutting mats when I'm working. That way I don't have to worry about cleaning up my mess. I can just move one of them and move on to the next thing. So just sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle. I need about 3 more hands. Does anybody else feel like that? Okay. So this recipe technically calls for like salt and pepper before you throw it on the stove. I like this better. I like to give it a little extra pump. So last one, and then I will do these last ones later on. Now if you have problems with meal prep, you totally need to try doing all of your chicken right at once like this. You're going to save so much time and effort and ultimately money and all that fun stuff too, just when you get this all done and prepared. Okay, so a lot of the times I'll take my Sunday night and I'll prep a lot of chicken up and then come back to it later. Okay. Just going to clean my mess up really quick. So with this grill pan, it's absolutely one of my favorite things because I could actually defrost my chicken on it, which is fantastic. So like when my kids get home from school, I'll have them pull the meats out of the freezer and just put them onto the counter inside the bag, and it's just going to start thawing everything out. It works like a snap, okay? But also, you notice that I didn't put any oil in there. I just spritzed the chicken. So what's going to happen, since I had my pan nice and hot, when the chicken hits it, it goes, you know, like suctions on. So when it's ready to flip, it will start self-releasing. So if you're a scatterbrain like I tend to be, you don't even have to pay attention to that. It just does its thing, and you just flip, and you're good to go. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start our cheese for the pesto. I'll move this. So I have my fresh Parmesan cheese. If you are not using fresh cheese, you totally need to get on the boat. Love it, love it, love it. You're going to save money. It's going to taste fresher. It's going to not get that funky feeling. And Parmesan especially, you know that it has those fillers in. So if you're getting it, the shaker cheese, it's got some fillers, like, and I talk about this all the time, it's got things like cellulose, that's gross, and wood chips, different things like that, sawdust, gross. Okay, so what we're going to do here, this is our new grater system. I've got the fine one in there right now. Let me just chop this block right in half. I think I might have touched part of it with the chicken knife, so I don't want to do that. Let me just slice this in half here. And this goes so easy. So I've got half of it here. I'm just going to put this grater in there. Now, if you are concerned about this shooting anywhere, like off of your counter, no worries. This baby is not going anywhere. It is like octopus suctioned onto my countertop. So there's half of it right there. How quick was this, right? But since I'm doing it, I'm just going to do the whole thing. Might as well, right? Then I'll have it in my fridge for another time. And who doesn't like cheese? So I'm doing the other half right here. I've gone through an entire block of cheddar cheese in like 15-20 seconds flat. What a time saver. So put this right in there. My daughter even will grate cheese for me when I'm at work. She'll be like, Mommy, I got some ready for you, because I know that we both love it. So you will get some chunks that come through here. You can either send them through again, or these are the taste testing ones. So I've always said you measure cheese and chocolate with your heart. This recipe technically calls for, I think, 3/4 cup. We may or may not honor that, okay? So we've got our cheese ready. The next thing that we are going to do is get our pesto going. So for our pesto, I have the manual food processor. Let me check the chicken. What did I do with the tongs? Okay. This is looking good. Okay. So we've got our manual food processor. This works for anything that's like wet or mushy, some things like that. Maybe you have the food chopper, which is awesome, but that's better for some of your harder things. Now, items like onions can go in either one. So I like to use this for my onions to hide them from my family. They hate onions, they eat them all the time, they have no idea. Okay, so I'll use it for that. I use it for obviously pesto that we're going to do. You can make guacamole, baby food. My daughter likes to make smoothies with them. Seriously, you can do just about anything. So what we're going to do in here first is we're going to put our basil. Guys, let's talk basil for a minute. I had no idea about all of the things with basil. So basil is so delightful to smell, but there's so much more to that. Did you know how many health benefits there are? So it actually has about 7 health benefits to it. If you get the kind of holy basil, it actually has way more. So check into that. But it has antioxidants. It has It has a good source of magnesium, so it's good for your heart. Trying to just look at here. It's also great for your skin if you have acne problems or psoriasis or rheumatoid arthritis. It cleans so many things of that up. Plus, it actually has some antibiotic properties, right? So if you are in a pinch and you don't have any Neosporin, but maybe your kiddo got a scrape or something, if you have basil leaves, you can rub it on there and it has some antibiotic properties. Who would have guessed, right? But you can also use it for different inflammatory things. It's great for your digestion if you have irritable bowel syndrome, different things like that. And it's even been shown to, I don't want to say this wrong, it will limit your chances of getting cancer if you eat a lot of it. So, I don't know. I'm just reading these things. They're just things that I've heard. So, I love basil. Eat a lot of it. It's going to be healthy for you, okay? Plus, it smells good. So, what we're going to do here, now I actually just picked this from my garden. So, I'm super excited. Look at me with a green thumb, right? So, here's what you need to do with basil. Because with basil and other herbs, now this is actually part of the mint family. You need to be careful because you don't want to bruise it. So after you bring it in, you want to rinse it off, and I sent it through the salad spinner. So you want to dry everything off with the salad spinner, clean it off real well. Just going to let this go for maybe, yeah, it's not quite ready. You want to send it through the salad spinner, get a lot of that wetness off, and then you need it to be dried completely. So I have it here in my paper towels, and I was finishing to dry it like this, okay? Now you can cut the stems off if you'd like, if they feel like they're, you know, long and pointy. I normally just throw them all in here and it's going to be okay. So we could chiffonade them. So who knows what chiffonade means, right? It's actually when you roll them up, you can roll up your herbs like this into a tight little wrap here and just slice them. So it actually means ribbon. Chiffonade is a French word for ribbon. So that's a way that you can cut your herbs and do it like that. You really cannot cut them when they're wet or else they're going to go gross and mushy. They're going to bruise and you're not going to be happy. So I am going to throw these right into the manual food processor. So I could chiffonade all of them, but I have an awful lot of basil here. So you can grow basil like anywhere. You can have it in your garden. You can do it in the window box, in your kitchen. I have several plants. It's kind of like a problem here. So we'll be talking a lot about basil, right? So I'm just going to chop this up here. This makes it so super duper fast. You can see how it's going right through here. Okay, a little bit more. Some of it's not chopping. All right, looking good. We have 13 minutes on the potatoes. Now what we're going to do is put some garlic on here. You know I love garlic too. It's got so many antibacterial or antibiotic, get my words wrong, functions. This is called a bulb. The single ones are called a clove. I'm always specific in saying that because I got it wrong the first time. I wasn't too privy on the whole garlic terminology. Let me flip these. Oh my goodness, this looks amazing. Okay, so that's going. So I've got a couple things of garlic here. Here's the garlic press. Not even going to take the skins off, right? I'm just going to shoot them right inside here. Slice that off. Now guys, it comes with a little brush so you don't have to dig in here with your fingers like what I'm doing right now, but it looks just like a Barbie brush. So if you have little girls in your house, don't be surprised if it goes missing. Mine's been missing for years now, but look at that. Usually it just pulls right out like that and it's super easy. So the recipe calls for 4. I think I'm just going to put 3 because some of these are pretty big. Oh my goodness, this one's really huge. So if you don't have the garlic press, this is multi use. You can even use this for your bouillon cubes, so if you're making soups or socks or anything like that. Check that out, popped right out. You can just put your bouillon cube in here and smash it down. That way you don't have to wait forever and a lifetime for that to happen. So what we're going to do next is just put some of this cheese in here. I don't know how much. Remember I said we just measure with our heart. And then you could use like olive oil. I have some of our garlic infused canola oil. Let's see how much that calls for. I don't know. You always have to just eyeball it. I'm just going to put whatever I've got in here. So we'll pour that inside too. Now you can put pine nuts in here or walnuts or anything like that if you want to add some extra crunch into it. I'm not a huge fan of those, so I'm leaving them out. So that's the great thing with pesto. You can just play around with it. So you could change some of your cheeses up too. I love Parmesan, so I use that a lot. Plus I knew I was going to get some mileage out of it later. So I'm going to add a little bit more cheese. Of course, right? All right, so this is a little bit chunky. I don't like a whole lot of oil in there, plus it's healthier if you don't have it, so I'd rather mine to be like that than mushy. Okay, so we've got this all going on. The next thing that we're going to do is slice a tomato, because that's going to go on it too. So here's what we got for our tomato. We've got our oh my goodness, core more. Drawing a blank. So this is the core, this is the more. We're going to use the core part tonight. This is great for your hulling your strawberries, getting eyes out of potatoes. We're also going to use this to get the stem out of tomatoes. So I'm just going to loop right around in here. Check that out. I barely wasted anything. And so this is the awesome part. We're going to put it right down on side there because I'm terrible with getting all of the same size slices for different things. So I'm just going to use the quick slice here. Look at all those blades. It's like using 10 knives all at the same time. So I'm just going to put it right like this. Slice. Check it out. I didn't even break a sweat. Okay? So let me check these. So our chicken is coming along nicely. And here's what we're going to do. I've got 9 minutes yet on the potatoes. Now, if you're watching your carbs and such, just eat it with the pesto on top with a tomato and you're going to have a fantastic meal. If you'd like to spiral up some zucchinis or other veggies, you've got also a very healthy low-carb meal, and you don't even have to have a side then because you've already got your veggies right there. If you would like, I'm feeling a little bit carby tonight, you can use some ciabatta rolls. We could slice them with a quick slice or with a bread knife. And, I'm sorry, not the quick slice. I'm getting all discombobulated. The close and cut that we did the chicken in could open it up because I don't know why they never come opened, but you have to slice them open. So we're going to eat like we're at a restaurant tonight with a fancy meal that I would pick off of the menu. Guys, it's going to taste amazing. It smells so good already. But if you wanted to change things up, maybe instead of doing the pesto, maybe you make a guacamole and put some tomatoes on top, maybe a piece of bacon, something like that. You can totally change this any way you want, but you don't have to eat plain grilled chicken anymore. Hallelujah, right? So this is looking great. Let me grab a pair of tongs here so I can show you how our chicken looks. Check it. And you know I'm not grilling outside. So I am, of course, going to check the internal temperature. If you don't know, you always need to check that. That way you're not getting sick. You want it to be at 165 degrees. So I am going to let this finish up, and of course I'm going to post pictures for you. But if you have any questions, please comment below. I would love to help you out and help you get a healthier dinner on the table faster. So with that, I'm going to sign off. I think I've got everything else ready to go. Let me just tell you real quick. So with our chicken here, in about probably a second or so after I sign off, I'm going to put the basil on here and put a slice of tomato on and some cheese and wait until the cheese melts. And then I'm going to stick it on that delightful looking bun. As soon as those potatoes are done, dinner is served. and I barely even broke a sweat, right? That's the way we like to cook. So you have a great night. I will chat with you soon. Bye.